Hi there, my name is Laura, and today I would love to guide you through a restorative yoga practice that is specially designed for those bodies in pregnancy. So this practice can be enjoyed through all of the stages of pregnancy, first, second, and third trimester. Restorative yoga is such a lovely way to unwind and to soothe your nerves, to feel calm and grounded. It can help to manage any feelings of stress and overwhelm. So it is a great practice to bring into the day-to-day, and especially those times when the body is changing. There's so much going on in our lives as they are about to take a big shift, preparing to welcome babe. So I hope that you enjoy. If you're new to the practice of restorative yoga, know that there are a lot of cushions and pillows and things involved. So it's a very soothing, very gentle practice. And I'll just make note of the props that I have available for our practice today, and you might grab some things that you have in your home that are similar. So you can have 1 or 2 blankets available. So a blanket to keep you warm, and maybe even a blanket to put under your body. So if you're on a hard surface, I actually have 2 yoga mats, but if you have just one, then you might like a blanket under your body. I have 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, maybe you have 1. You can also use cushions like this, sort of square shaped like couch cushions. You can use cushions like that to help you to make do without blocks. I have a bolster here, this large rectangular cushion. It's just heaven on earth. Such a lovely yoga prop to have. But if you don't have a bolster, then you can grab bed pillows. So the more rectangular shaped pillows, you can grab a couple of those and have them handy, a couple or a few. So just gathering up a whole buffet of pillows and props and things. One last thing that I have is a folding chair. You don't have to have a folding chair. You can have any type of chair. You can also just be near a couch or a bed if you just happen to be set up already near those pieces of furniture, then that's perfect. Great. So our first posture that we'll find together is called a supported back bend. We can reach for our blocks and place the blocks on a capital letter T sort of shape. So the top of the T, that block will be on the middle height, a little bit taller. The bottom of the T on its lowest height, but you can also play with this. So there are different ways. I don't want to be too overwhelming with options, but you might put the bottom of the block that's closest to you. You could put that on the middle height and then turn the other block on the tallest height. I just find it's a little bit tippy that way, but you can find whatever format is your favorite. Then we place our bolster on top. So this might be a combination of bed pillows and cushions like this instead. Good. So once you have this set up, you'll notice it's like a hill. And we turn away from this hill to bring the low back right up to it. Sitting down on the ground with the low back touching your prop. You might reach for a blanket before you lay back. You can cover yourself right up, or you might just wish to cover the feet or the arms. Another nice option if your shoulders tend to be a little bit tense, or you just feel like there's discomfort in that area, then you can have a pillow on either side, maybe just one side, maybe both, for your arms to rest. So I'll demonstrate that a little bit more fully when I lay back. Take your time to recline onto your bolster with your back feeling nice and smooth, especially the low back here. You can check in that there's no feeling of compression through the low back. The glutes, you might even send them down toward the feet a little bit, using your hands to feel spacious through the low back. A common area of tension and discomfort. And also checking in with the head and neck. If you notice that without a pillow, your chin reaches up into the sky, and maybe you're craning into the neck, tuck a pillow beneath your head, letting your neck be nice and long and smooth. Then as you begin to relax your arms at your sides, just after you have all of your props settled, then you might like to notice, is there any strain in the shoulders? Are the arms pulling on the shoulder joints and creating any discomfort there? And that could be a signal for you to bring the ground up to your arms a little bit. In restorative yoga, we're releasing our effort. Really letting go. So bringing the floor up to you in all these different ways so that you can relax without effort. If the low back is feeling tense, you may prefer to bend the knees. Letting the knees lean onto each other as the feet open out wider apart. Take as many movements as you need. As many movements as necessary to get as comfortable as you can. Getting just as comfortable as possible. You might imagine in each restorative yoga pose the care and attention that you will have putting your baby down for a nap. The tender rituals, the kind, sweet energy of love and care. The essence of nurturing and soothing your baby into rest. Can you channel that here for yourself? For both of you as you rest together. As you move along through your pregnancy, you may find it getting uncomfortable at times to lay flat on the back. And this supported back bend allows us to feel propped up, slightly elevated, to maintain comfort as we rest back. You may notice that as the front of the body opens toward the sky, there's a sense of spaciousness here. Creating space for you and babe to be more comfortable together. The low ribs can lift away from the belly slightly. The shoulders draw down and back. You might find you can take more full inhalations. As if you could take breaths that feel more steady and easeful. Notice if the mind wanders. Noticing without judgment. And simply drawing your attention back to the breath as an anchor to this moment. You can draw your awareness, your attention back to the breath as many times as you need to. Relaxing from the entire train of thought. Even giving the thinking mind permission to unwind here. There isn't anything else to do or make happen. Give your entire being permission to relax. And you might open up to the possibility that baby also receives this permission. baby senses you unwinding. The energy for both of you, the atmosphere, warmly welcomes you to do less and less. Begin to slowly deepen your breathing. Inhaling fully, exhaling completely. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then breathe out of your mouth. When you're ready, you can rock your head from side to side. You might wiggle your fingers, your toes, roll wrists, ankles, and take a nice big stretch, a big yawn, a big sigh. And before we transition off of our bolster, let's bring the hands palm to palm, and you can rub them together gently. Your eyes may be closed, building a little bit of heat, stimulating the current of energy here from one hand to the next. A loving energy of kindness, compassion, of support. And then taking your hands anywhere that you wish to offer a little bit of self-massage. You might sweep across the face, across the brow line, the forehead, or under the eyes. Outward and upward strokes under the eyes, or circles at the temples. So important that you take such good care of yourself. You and baby both benefiting from you taking this time to love and cherish yourself. You may like to massage in front of or behind the ears, even around to the hinges of the jaw or into the cheeks, along the jawline. You could make like a sock puppet sort of shape with your hands and then pinch along the jawline, gliding from the chin toward the ears. Beautiful. Now, whenever you're feeling complete with that massage of the face or anywhere else, you may like to take your hands to your belly here, placing your hands on your belly and massaging or simply resting your hands on your belly. You might notice that there's tightness, or there might even be soreness in the belly as it grows and changes, as baby grows within the body and your body makes space for this growing babe. So you might take some special time to massage your belly, maybe with the fingertips or the heels of the palms, around the belly button. Wonderful. And now let's rest one hand on baby and one hand on the heart. Taking some deep breaths here. And just opening your heart up to any messages, any wisdom that you wish to lovingly extend, perhaps to your own self or to babe. You might have an affirmation that you feel supported by. Perhaps a wish for yourself as you journey into motherhood. A wish for yourself or for you and babe together. A special bond that you share. You might even internally or outwardly whisper a few words to babe. From your heart to theirs. Three more breaths here. And then letting your arms relax at your sides. You can bend your knees and gently rock your knees from one side to the other, just like windshield wipers. Massaging your bum, releasing a little through the low back, which may feel quite needed and quite welcome in your body. And take your time, all the time you need, to let your legs draw toward one side. Your upper body follows along carefully. Use your arms and your hands to support yourself in coming up toward a seat. You can press through the arms and the hands. And if there's any call for intuitive movement before we come into the next restorative pose, you might like to roll your neck or your shoulders. We're actually going to be transitioning to our hands and knees. So you can even find some hip circles from kneeling if you would prefer. If that would feel good for your low back and hips, you can circle around. You might even wag your tail from side to side. And for our next posture, we're actually going to leave the props almost as they are. I like to take the pillow off of the bolster, but you can notice what feels good for you. And I usually like to remove one block so that I have just a bit of support toward the end of the bolster, lifting it up, but it's a bit lower now than what it was before. So you can still be moving and stretching, just nice, slow, gentle movements as I demonstrate how to come into the next pose, and then you can join me as you're ready. I will take a pillow under the bum. So I like to put a pillow there that feels comfortable. If your knees are sensitive, you might even lift your bum up a bit more so there's not such a deep flexion in your knees. Or if it's the bearing of the weight down on the knees, you could put a blanket underneath. Maybe you have a blanket around your body like a cape. You could tuck yourself in right now before settling into the pose so that you're nice and warm when you go in. Good. So we actually frame the bolster with our knees. And at different stages of pregnancy, this posture does change. So what we need to be mindful of is keeping room for baby. And it's very intuitive. You will notice what feels natural, what feels comfortable in your body. So you can go ahead and lay down on the front of the body. So you might need to move your bolster away if you need to make more space for your belly to settle down. It's kind of floating in space. The head turns toward one side. If it's more comfortable for you to have the neck neutral, that's also an option. You can maybe place a folded blanket or a pillow at the end of your bolster so that the forehead has some support. We won't hold this pose for as long as we hold our other restorative postures, but we do want to put effort into getting as comfortable as possible. You might lift up your prop with more blocks or lower it down. You might put a pillow on top of your bolster. Letting your shoulders and your arms soften. Make sure you have space for your belly to rest without any sense of compression or weight bearing on your belly. Again, this does depend on what trimester, how far along your journey is into your pregnancy so far. Really listening to your body. Deep breaths. Remembering to call in the same tenderness, the same sense of compassion and gentleness for yourself at this time that you would naturally exude if you were putting your little babe to sleep for a nap. In the same way that you would care so much about their rest, about them getting a good sleep, an opportunity to feel safe and comfortable. Can you show that care to your own self? Good. Now if your head is turned to one side, very slowly, very gently, can you lift the head and turn it the other way if you wish to cultivate symmetry for the neck. So still in your child's pose, laying on your bolster, you can just lift your head, turn it the other way, place your head back down. Giving yourself permission to relax. Notice if your mind wanders. You may come back to your breath. Or perhaps to the wish that you have for your babe, for you and babe, or yourself at this precious time through this special journey. An intention, a heartfelt message. You might repeat that inwardly like a mantra. And this might be something that you could call on throughout the rest of your pregnancy. Just a few more breaths here. In your supported child's pose. And slowly, we'll transition from child's pose back into table pose. You can use your arms and your hands to press yourself up. Shift your hips above the knees as you're ready. And again, you might wag the tail from side to side. Or circle the hips around. Nice and slow movements guide us into our next pose. You can keep moving, stretching any way that you would love to. Maybe some cat-cow stretches while I demonstrate where we're headed next. Just be mindful if you are flowing through cat-cow stretches, when you arch the spine, lifting tail and lifting crown of the head, be mindful of what feels comfortable in your belly. So you don't want to overdo it, as that's a lot of new weight on the back, and we want to be careful that we're not overstretching around the belly either. So I'll just demonstrate where we're headed next. We're going to reach for the chair, or maybe you are sitting near a couch or by the side of a bed. And as you have your prep nearby and handy, You can sit on top of a pillow if you wish, or a folded blanket. Just in front of your prop. Now your legs can either extend around the prop depending on what it is. So you might open the legs and feet. This is another great prenatal posture, Upavista Konasana. But if you're up to a couch or a bed, it might feel better to cross your legs or to have soles of feet together, perhaps knees wide. So either way, if there's any effort through the hips, inner thighs, maybe backs of legs, you can tuck other props underneath the legs so that the effort can relax and release. So once you've found the position for your legs, then we'll get ready to soften into a supported forward fold. If you're using a chair that's a little bit hard, you might like to put a pillow on top. Arms can cross or rest in your lap, dangle in front. Many, many options. Feel welcome to change it up as you need to. Your neck might rest in a neutral position with your forehead down on support. Or you may turn your head toward one side again, just like we did in child's pose. Know that our intention here in this forward fold is to relax into the support that you have here, rather than finding a more effortful, dynamic stretch for the back body. We're lifting our props up, we're building them up so that the body can simply melt over them to find a very, very relaxed posture. So if you feel that there's strain to come down to your support, build it up. Add more pillows, add more blankets. Especially if belly is growing quite a bit, it can be nice to feel elevated and supported to whatever degree you need. And as you settle in, you might like to welcome the visual of cocooning in around your baby, snuggling them in. Forward folds are very calming in nature. So they give you an opportunity to have a private, quiet moment to yourself. In a prenatal practice, a private, quiet moment with yourself and your babe. Nurturing each of your beings. Together as one. You might notice natural movements, even as you soften into stillness. Perhaps movements of baby. The beating of your heart. The movement of your breath. Of your body with each deep breath. And either internally or out loud, repeating after me. I am full of light. I am full of light. I am full of love. I am full of love. I am full of life. I am full of life. If your head is turned to one side, you can shift it the other way. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. A full breath out of the mouth. And saying it with me now. I am full of light. I am full of love. I am full of life. Breathing in through the nose, out of the mouth. Resting into gravity. Remember that you can move and adjust anytime. And perhaps you're comfortable here for 5 or so more breaths. Our practice supporting us in trusting our bodies and in the way that we know what we need. And our own inner sources of wisdom. We carry an intelligence within our being. And slowly now, you might keep your eyes closed. You can take your time to lift up. Coming toward a seat just in your own time. You may roll the shoulders or roll the neck, moving very slowly. And whenever you're ready, we'll shift into our final restorative pose. You can clear your props a little bit. And we'll be moving into a final relaxation. It might be your preference to lay flat on the back. That might still be comfortable for you at this point in your pregnancy, but honoring that for many it does get uncomfortable and at different times through different pregnancies. So what I'll offer today and describe and demonstrate is a supported fetal position rather than a shavasana. And for this supported fetal position, you'll need many of the same props. So many of the same ones that you would use for shavasana. And we'll plan to lay on the left side of the body. You can clear your space. You might have a blanket under the body and then one to keep you warm. So you can open that up if needed. You might be finding that as you've been relaxing further and further, the body temperature gets a little bit cooler. We really cool off as we relax. Maybe you're finding you run a little bit warmer these days, but just having a blanket handy is great. So we can lay on the left side. And you can have your bolster in front of you, maybe another pillow, a pillow for the head here, depending on how much support you like for your head. Take your time to get comfortable on your left side. And this left leg might be best long. Then with your right leg, you can hug your bolster in. So we actually make sure that from the knee to the foot is supported by the bolster. So there isn't any part that's dangling off. From the entire knee to the foot is propped up. You might take time to tuck in your feet with your blanket. And it can be comforting to reach for another prop to snuggle while you're here. You can snuggle a bolster or a pillow in front of you. Some even like to have them behind. You may like to have a prop behind your back. Take as many wiggles and shifts as you need. If the right arm is more comfortable resting on your body, that's a great option. Just along your side, or maybe it even drapes over your head. Wherever it can be effortless. making your rest a priority. Your relaxation is important. It's not something you have to earn or justify or explain or feel any guilt for. As your body changes, levels of energy can be unpredictable. We can try our very best to have rest in the bank rather than be moving through the day-to-day from a deficit, feeling diminished. Letting this practice offer you the medicine of rest. Intentional relaxation. Notice if there's any lingering effort. Deliberately, intentionally relaxing there too. Know that you can continue to rest here for just as long as your day will allow. Perhaps you're drifting off to sleep in the evening, or getting ready for an afternoon nap. So you might stay in this supported fetal position. If or when the time comes for you to transition, you can very slowly find some stretches to help you to reawaken. Maybe movement of the hands or the feet, wrists, ankles. Some deep breaths. And very mindfully, heartfully, could take your time to rise to a seat. So again, there is no rush. If you wish to continue relaxing back, please feel welcome to do that. Only when you're ready, coming to a seat. And as you find your way to a seat, or even from laying back, you can take a few intentional breaths. You might imagine, sense how you are nourished by each breath. Just as your little babe is nourished. Could bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly here. Thanking yourself for taking time to connect with your heart and to connect with your baby through your prenatal restorative yoga practice today. Thanking your body for all of the magic that is unfolding. Thanking your baby for being here. Yourself for being here. And bowing your head down toward your heart and toward your babe. Repeating after me. I am full of light. I am full of love. I am full of life. Gathering the hands, palm to palm at the heart center. Peace to all, light to all, and love to all. Namaste. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me today for this restorative yoga practice for prenatal yogis. I hope that you enjoyed and are feeling very relaxed. If you are interested in other prenatal yoga content, I do have other options, meditations, breathing techniques, yoga practices on my channel. So be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more yoga through your pregnancy. Thank you so much again, and be well. Bye.